question focuses on energy resources. When heat energy is emitted from the sun, it is a very short wavelength, and it easily penetrates the Earth's atmosphere to reach the Earth's surface, where it is absorbed by the Earth. The heat then re-emitted to the atmosphere by the Earth is at a lower temperature but longer wavelength, and this isn't as penetrating, so some of the heat is not allowed to pass through the atmosphere but is reflected back to the Earth's surface. So it's effectively trapped, and it's mostly the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere that traps this heat. This is essential actually for the Earth to maintain its temperature, or it would be too cold for us to survive. However, production of too much carbon dioxide in the atmosphere due to burning fossil fuels causes too much heat to be trapped, and this is leading to global warming and a general rise in the temperature of the Earth's atmosphere. So this question asks us to outline the processes, and it has 3 marks. So, sun's heat energy absorbed by the Earth is re-radiated into the atmosphere. The CO2 and other gases, mainly CO2, but you can mention other gases, absorb this heat radiation. And reflect it back to Earth. This trapped heat effectively keeps the Earth warm. And overproduction of CO2 then leads to global warming. So first of all, we have the first mark is for the energy absorbed by the Earth is re-radiated into the atmosphere. The important points are the re-radiated into the atmosphere. The CO2 and other gases in the atmosphere absorb this heat radiation and reflect it back to Earth, and this keeps the Earth warm. So those are your 3 main points: the re-radiation of heat, the trapping of it by the CO2, and then that rising the temperature of the Earth or keeping the Earth warm. Give one example of a non-renewable. So our non-renewable energy sources, to remind ourselves, are oil, coal, gas and nuclear. And we have one example of non-renewable which does not add to the greenhouse effect. Well, coal, oil and gas are fossil fuels, which means that when we burn them we create CO2. So they're adding to the greenhouse effect. The only one that we get energy from that we don't have to burn is nuclear power. So it's a nuclear fuel. And the energy from nuclear fuel comes about by a nuclear reaction rather than burning. Why does this source not contribute to the greenhouse effect? Well, we've just explained it there now. Either it does not burn, or you could say it doesn't combust, or does not produce CO2. Any of these examples are suitable. Give one example of an energy source which does contribute to the greenhouse effect. 3 most obvious ones are coal, or oil, or gas. Any one of these. Other examples: wood, peat, lignite, or you could say fossil fuels. However, I would be more apt to suggest coal, oil or gas as a standard answer there. How does this source contribute to the greenhouse effect? So it's effectively asking you a similar question to part 2 up above. This source contributes to the greenhouse effect because it produces CO2. And the CO2, that's a very important point to mention there to get your mark. It's not any other gases that we're interested in, it's the CO2. When we burn fuels, we also produce water and carbon monoxide and carbon, which is the soot that we see in our chimneys. But the CO2 is the one that contributes to the greenhouse effect. Part C of this question then. Explain how the energy stored in fossil fuels can be traced back to the sun. This question comes up quite often. Fossil fuels are the remains of plants and animals. Animals survive by eating plants and other small animals. And the plants derive their energy and grow because of the energy that comes from the sun. So, plants get their energy from the sun. By photosynthesis. So fossil fuels are the remains of plants and animals that have derived over thousands and millions of years, and the plants originally got their energy from the sun by photosynthesis. So saying what fossil fuels are derived from gets you a mark. The sun is the source of the energy, and that energy was absorbed by the plants via photosynthesis. And photosynthesis is the process of converting the sun's energy to chemical energy.